You're watching the news on Bahrain International. I'm Mohammed Shaban. Good evening. The Minister of Labour, Jamil bin Mohammed Ali Hameidan, held a meeting with the Director General of the Executive Bureau of the GCC Labour and Social Affairs Council, Dr. Amr bin Mohammed Al-Hijri. The meeting reviewed the topics on the agenda of the 9th meeting of the Committee of GCC Labour Ministers, which will be held in the Kingdom of Bahrain later this year. Hameidan highlighted the importance of exchanging successful experiences in the GCC labour markets, especially in the field of employment and rehab of citizens and the creation of promising opportunities in various productive sectors. For his part, Al-Hijri praised Bahrain's support for the Executive Bureau, noting that it reflects the Kingdom's keenness on pushing joint GCC action forward. The Minister of Electricity and Water Affairs, Yasser bin Ibrahim Hameidan, announced that the Kingdom of Bahrain will host the 9th meeting of the Gulf Technical Committee for Renewable Energy Specifications and Storage Technologies and the 13th meeting of the Electrical and Electronic Equipment Specification Committee, which are scheduled to be held from the 10th to the 13th of July. The Minister affirmed that hosting these meetings comes within the framework of Bahrain's national and international commitments to achieve sustainable development goals, in line with the vision of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, which imply enhancing joint cooperation in order to reach innovative solutions that contribute to preserving the sustainability of resources. The minister pointed to Bahrain's keenness in keeping abreast of trends that contribute to the expansion and the use of renewable energy and attracting regional and international meetings and events consistent with the directives to benefit from sustainable energy sources. He noted Bahrain's interest in following up the implementation of the initiatives of the National Plan for Renewable Energy and the National Plan for Energy Efficiency and consolidating efforts with relevant authorities to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. The Dean of Arab Diplomatic Corps in Britain, Bahraini Ambassador to the United Kingdom, Sheikh Fawaz bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, has been congratulated by Arab countries' ambassadors to the UK on the success of the official visit of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to Britain. Sheikh Fawaz received the congratulations while chairing the meeting of the Council of Arab Ambassadors in London. The Arab envoys to the UK praised the high-level meetings held by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister during the visit, hailing the visit's positive outcomes, including the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the two countries across various vital fields, particularly trade, investment and expertise exchange. The Kingdom of Bahrain stressed the importance of the efforts of all member states in enhancing the implementation of the goals aimed at protecting children and sparing them the scourge of conflict around the world and supporting the rehabilitation and integration of those affected by them. During his participation at the Security Council's open debate session on children and armed conflict, Bahrain's permanent representative to the United Nations in New York, Ambassador Jamal Faris Al-Rawai, affirmed the Kingdom's keenness to implement initiatives and enact legislation to protect children and promote their rights, as the Kingdom of Bahrain acceded to the Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1991. The Kingdom also acceded to the optional protocol on the involvement of children in armed conflict and the optional protocol on the sale and exploitation of children. He referred to the report of the UN Secretary General on Children in Armed Conflict, in which he welcomed the cooperation of the coalition to support legitimacy in Yemen, with a special representative of the Secretary General for Children in Armed Conflict. The permanent representative also indicated in his speech that the increasing conflicts, doubling of the number of armed actors, and the arrival of hostilities to new areas have a direct impact on the increase in those horrific violations against children, such as killing, maiming, kidnapping, recruitment and other heinous crimes, as well as the increase in attacks on schools, hospitals and infrastructure. He stressed the need of the commitment of all parties to conflicts to international law and international humanitarian law and to respecting and implementing international treaties related to the rights of the child, including the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and the importance of the parties involved in conflicts working to ensure that humanitarian aid reaches children and their families and caregivers and provide them with health care, education and protection. He affirmed that the Kingdom of Bahrain will continue to support all efforts aimed at protecting children and preventing their exploitation, and will work with the international community to establish security and stability in the world so that everyone, and children in particular, can enjoy all their rights. foremost of which is growth in safe and prosperous countries. The president of Armenia, Vagan Khachatoryan, received the credentials of Dr. Nasser Mohammed al-Blushi, the ambassador of the Kingdom of Bahrain to Armenia. The ambassador conveyed to the president of Armenia greetings from His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and their wishes of continued health and wellness, and for his country and its friendly people, more of development and prosperity, stressing the keenness of the Kingdom of Bahrain to strengthen and develop bilateral relations with the Republic of Armenia in various fields to achieve the common interests of the two friendly countries. The Armenian president asked the ambassador to convey his greetings and good wishes to His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, wishing the ambassador success in carrying out his diplomatic duties. The Ministry of Works has announced that plans to widen the Janabia Highway into a dual 3-lanes carriageway road reached 30%, which is one of the important projects included in the government's program aimed at easing traffic congestion on the main roads. The ministry indicated that the development works on Janabia Road are proceeding according to the plan in order to maintain the flow of traffic during the summer periods as much as possible. The ministry added that the Janabia Road expansion project, which is included in the program to develop the outlets of Salman City and develop the surrounding road network, will contribute to increasing the capacity of the street and reducing the time and travel time for its users and residents of the area and villages of the northern province that extends on its side to the city of Salman. The project involves expansions of the highway that will increase its capacity to more than 100,000 vehicles a day. The ministry affirmed that this project is an important addition to supporting the infrastructure and developing the surrounding roads leading to Salman City, which is one of the largest residential cities. The Information and E-Government Authority is hosting the second edition of the GCC E-Government Priorities Workshop, which will be held on the 9th and 10th of July, with the participation of authorities concerned with developing digital governments and information and telecommunication in GCC states. Hosting the workshop comes within the framework of cooperation and coordination between the Kingdom of Bahrain and the GCC Secretariat General. Organizing the workshop aims at continuing the Gulf efforts and supporting the E-Government Executive Committee's views and joint cooperation strategies. The topics of the workshop will include Bahrain's experience in cooperation with the private sector, the most prominent national applications and platforms, and measuring digital transformation in the GCC countries. The workshop will also deliberate about the unified government contact centers, joint government systems, and data exchange mechanisms between the GCC countries and central payment services. The workshop will also include panel discussions to review the experiences of member states in the field of digital transformation and government services. The Labour Market Regulatory Authority, the LMRA, the Ministry of Interior and the government-related entities continue their joint efforts to intensify inspection campaigns against illegal practices in the labour market in order to preserve a competitive, fair and stable labour market. The LMRA announced it had conducted 5 joint inspection campaigns which resulted in registering violations related to the labour market and residency laws. The cases were referred for legal action. LMRA pointed out that the inspection campaigns were carried out in the Capital Governorate and the Southern Governorate, renewing its call to all members of the society to support the efforts of government agencies in addressing illegal labor practices by reporting violations via the electronic form on the authority's website. The first ever almond festival opened today at Bahraini Farmers Market site in the Budaya Botanical Garden. The festival is open for visitors from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. The Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture is holding the event in partnership with the National Initiative for Agricultural Development and the Bahrain Agriculture Cooperative Society. The 2-week festival will witness the participation of 15 farmers, 3 projects and productive families, and 4 restaurants of almond products. The ministry will distribute a total of 1,000 almond seedlings on the sidelines of the festival, which will display also almond-based products. The General Presidency for the two holy mosques is showcasing 7 rare manuscripts in the women's section of the Grand Mosque's library in Mecca. The rare manuscripts on display in the gallery include Quranic scripts written during the reign of Khalifa Uthman bin Affan, painting that features Quranic verses by calligrapher Muhammad Ibrahim, and a rare copy of Musnad al-Muwatta, the first legal work to incorporate hadith and fiqh. The gallery also contains a mural documenting the stages of development the library went through, copies of the Holy Quran and old newspapers and photographs of Mecca's Grand Mosque.